Back to my YouTube channel. So today we're gonna do the day 2 of stating random facts about countries. On day 1 we did Turkmenistan. You can watch the video after watching this video. Day 2. Day 3 will happen someday in the future. I don't know when. So let's see what country we get, and the country we get is Malaysia. This is a really interesting country. Let's see what we can do with it. Well, what I want you to talk about is the physical geography of it. As you can see, Malaysia is a pretty unique country because its country is split up into two parts. One being the country with a lot of cities. Well, this one is mostly just jungles, as you can see here. And the thing is, the uh, the smaller one is more populated than the bigger one, and it borders Singapore right over here. It borders Indonesia right over here. It borders Thailand. To the north is Vietnam, Philippines, China, all of that. And to the south, it's just Indonesia, basically. I mean, if you go here, you might end up in Papua New Guinea. And there's also Brunei here, I guess. So, let me also tell you some cool features in here. So, first of all, of course, the capital is Kuala Lumpur, and it is basically in the South China Sea, and it is barely avoided by the equator, as you see it's passed by Indonesia, but doesn't pass any of this Malaysia region. And this place right here is the mountain, and its name is the Gurunagak Kinbali. And let me show you a picture of it. As you can see, this is the main, and this is also the highest point in Malaysia. As you can see the clouds over here. And fun fact, this is like the whole mountain range, and like nobody really lives here. As you can see, there's some tiny villages here and here, and there's also palm trees. So I don't know why there's clouds there. Maybe he's in high elevation or something, but this is the highest point in Malaysia. So let's move on to its history. Now, the people to inhabit in older history were the Negritos, and these people dated back to around to 20,000 years ago, and they used to be part of the empire, and from the 13th to the 17th century they followed a somewhat religion of Islam called Sunni Islam. And yeah, so this is basically almost it of Malaysia's history. I mean, there's some more stuff, but if you are Malaysian and I missed out something or anything, please let me know in the comments. So, this is modern history, and this is where it starts for Malaysia. So, how British Malay was founded was British people just occupied this Malay region, including a lot of the southeast region was occupied by a lot of places like French, Indochina as well. French, this was British, this was British, this was US, this was German. Like a lot of regions just came and took over Southeast Asia. So yeah, that's basically almost it about this. But British Malay also had the Borneo, another part of Indonesia, while Jakarta was another region of itself. Kingdom of Java was something else. But we're not gonna go into that in further details. We're just gonna talk about the major things. Like I mean, because we have other countries too, like Malaysia, yeah. And and fun fact is now British Raj and British Malay will actually border each other, and that's really a cool thing to think about because I never would have guessed that British Malay and British Raj would have bordered each other. And well, this is the flag, and it's a typical British flag, the British seal, and a British seal, and then their own seal. Like this goes for a lot of places, like British South China, British Legion, Crown Port of Serbia, Crown Port of Jakarta, Crown Port of Singapore, Kingdom, well, not Kingdom Java. Timor Portuguese is literally just Portugal, but British Malay's flag is like just the reason why they have that is because, like I said, it was Sunni Islam they followed, and that was that. So they just made that their emblem, and they also bordered the Andaman Sea and the Bay of Bengal. I also said that for geography. So now let's just move on to the culture. Okay, I was just kidding when I said we had to do culture next because we also have to do more modern history. When I mean more modern history, I mean when Japan occupied Malaysia. So, what happened was Japan was being fierce in World War II, including Germany and Italy, and Japan was on the other side. And Japan already attacked a lot of places like China, Korea, Vietnam, all of those places, and their next target was Malaysia because it was blocking some of their ways and ports. So they just decided why not attack them. So a lot of people in Malaysia were killed, and it is a really sad thing still to this day. But thankfully, right as they were about to invade all of Malaysia, the two bombs that USA dropped were dropped, and Japan just fell down. Now, let's talk to more recent history. Now, next, what we have to talk about is Malaysia and its movement of declaration. Now after this, the Brits were then starting to stabilize Malaysia after Japan basically tried to kill almost every Malaysian. So what they didn't know was that the Malaysians now wanted independence and they had enough. So for the past 3 years, the Malaysian Socialist Party has been trying to push Britain out of their kingdom to make their own federal. And as you can see, they were only on this part. Well, this part was just something else. So, yeah, these part were the Malaysian Federation Party. But then finally, after 3 years of protesting, they finally declared independence. So, this was the flag of Malaysia from 1950 to 1963, right after they gained independence. And as you can see, it doesn't look that different from the regular flag. The Islam symbol of Sunni Islam and the stripes are just representing the states, I believe. So, as you can see, it says 1950 to 1963. So, let's move on to more modern history. And then on 1963. So, in 1963, they decided to make in to form to get the other island, and decided to give independence to Singapore and Brunei. So now those two they did their own thing. Singapore did really bad, Brunei did really bad. So Singapore is, I guess, better, and Malaysia is just chilling. Malaysia then formed their own thing, and they became the richest country, but then got taken over by Singapore. But they're still the second richest in Southeast Asia. And on and also from 1963 to, I mean, from 2000 to present day, they elected a new president called Mahathir Mohamad, and sadly he isn't a president anymore. So yeah, so I don't know who it is. I think I'll check that. Oh wait, Malaysia does not have a prime minister. I mean, he doesn't. They do not have a president. They have a prime minister, and he is Ibrahim Anwarin. So now let's move on to the culture and diversity. So now let's talk about its culture. It is a really diverse country. So, and I'm just gonna be using this wallpaper for the whole entire time because why not? Anyways, first of all, their biggest ethnic group are Malayan people, As well, no surprise, they came there a long time ago, they evolved, they sat there, and they just existed there. Second being Chinese, because of, well, their ethnicity evolution group, because they Indo-Aryans for Indians, Aryans for British or Europeans, and just Native Americans for Americans. Well, only for like North America or something. Like, but for Mexico, it's Aztecs. So it's different everywhere. So and there's also a bit few Japanese people because of what happened, and they just live there, I guess. And and also a lot of Tamils also live in India, as they just migrate there too, and 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 yeah, just basically Tamils. But also they can also come from Kerala. Like there's also a lot of Indians in Indonesia, so that also explains a lot. The main language is Bahasa Malaysia, which, well, it's the Malaysian language. Like Indian is Hindi. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, and the fun fact is, it's like a native language, like how Mexicans use Spanish and and Austrians use German. That yeah, that's basically it. Like it's its own language. They made it like Japanese is Japanese, Japan is Japanese, Indian is Hindi, blah blah blah. Yeah. So then now we're gonna talk about the religion then. So the first, primarily, it's obviously gonna be Islam, of course, but then secondly, it's gonna be none other. Well, there's actually a lot others, but like secondly, primarily, it's gonna be Buddhism. But we're also going to be talking about Hinduism and Christianity because they also do that. So, yeah, from now I'm just going to sum it all up. Malaysia is a really nice country, and you probably should also visit that country after your trip from Turkmenistan. And hopefully, you have a good time. Day 3, I will make next week in Saturday. I finally figured it out. So, goodbye and have a good time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.